what we call, I mean, I don't use Facebook, but it's a physical manifestation of Facebook where people could interact with each other using Post-its. You would call it healing wall sometimes, Barry, because people would use it as a place for self-reflection and for, so I want to say that I want to try to keep this as short as possible, so you could later on ask me questions on things that may seem vague to you, or some ideas which you think, well, I think you might be blowing smoke, so why don't you explain what you mean by this, these different concepts. But before I start, I want to say that maybe about 20 years ago, I called my brother Derek, who runs Kitty and a Big Eye. I said, Derek, hey, we won. He said, and I was so excited. He said, Duane, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, we took over the fort. And he said, what are you talking about? I said, I bought the C. Brewer building. And the significance of it for my brother and me and all the people that grew up in the sugar plantations was that as a sugar worker, as sons of a sugar plantation worker, there was no way we could enter that building. In fact, if you look at the building today, there's a gate, which I said, I don't want that taken away. There's a gate that would close and would not allow anybody to come in unless you get permission to do so. So, when we looked for somebody to occupy the building, I wanted to make sure it was an entity that served the public and allowed a lot of different people from all ethnicities, from all different ages to be able to come to this building. And so today it's the home for the Hawaii Community Foundation. So before the renovation happened, they had no use for this big conference table and chairs. So I said, this is what you're using now. This table and these chairs are where the people, all the leaders of the Big Five used to sit once upon a time. And so, Barry, if something ever happens to this chair, you gotta fix somebody, because for me, personally, it was really important that everybody get to use the same chairs. The mana is in here, and a mana is on this table. So, I just want to share a story because of the significance of this table. But you know what I want to open up by saying is that it's been said, and it's still being said, that our children and grandchildren are going to get less than what we have today. And to that I say bull. That's bull, because we cannot accept that as a reality. Instead, we have to take the stand that our children and grandchildren are going to get more than what we have. I stand by that, because if we don't take that position, then we might as well just all fold up our tents and just be retired, like that would be kid. So what is it gonna take? It's gonna take like a doubling of commitment, redoubling of commitment to what I call rediscovering Hawaii's soul. So I've told many people privately, and now I go publicly by saying, you know, I love Hawaii. I love Hawaii, and I would die for Hawaii. And when we're building Kahauiki Village, I went through the same emotional process, thinking, you know, about it wasn't, in Hawaii, if you, no matter how much you succeeded in doing something, people will remember you for what you couldn't accomplish, where you failed. And so I said, with this project, we cannot fail. And it wasn't about me but it was because of the reputation of all the people who put their resources and themselves on the line to create a concept that's never been done anyplace else in the world. So I thought to myself, okay, what does this mean? And so I went through this process of thinking that about a bus running over me, and I made it as real as possible. Would I be willing to lie down for all of the people who put themselves behind this project, and would I die for them? And that's why I talk about this quite frequently. In fact, just this morning I was telling this executive director for this organization that I lead, and a lot of people would tell me, stop saying this, but I said, I'm saying this for a reason. I said, one day somebody will shoot me in the head. And guys said, no, don't say that. I said, I'm saying this because of my commitment to this place, my commitment to Hawaii. I said, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to die for you, actually for you in this room, for your children, and for your grandchildren. When, we're all shaped by the way we grew up, and like I said, I grew up in a sugar plantation town. So growing up in these sugar plantation towns, it wasn't about how much money you made, how much power you had. I remember that what we aspired to were things, characters, traits like generosity, friendship, trustworthiness, and this deep sense of community. And so for me, along my life, in coming up with solutions for different things, or in business and in my work in the community, those things are what shaped the decisions that I made. So in the issue of homelessness, it would bother me, and for me, my problem, it is a problem. I feel like instead of doing I don't like to be somebody that watches the world go by. I wanna march with everybody else. So I say, okay, fine. I believe that the solution for homelessness is not shelter. It's about building community.